How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl celebration event in Pokemon Go. Now, as always, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, if you do find it helpful, if you could please smash that like button down below, it would help me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, this event is going to take place from November 16 to November 21st from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. your local time. This event is also broken down into two different parts. Part 1 is going to be for Brilliant Diamond, and then Part 2 is going to be for Shining Pearl. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later on in the video though. Right now I would like to go over all of the event details and bonuses that you're going to get during the entirety of the event. So let's start off with the incubator distance, which is going to be halved. So 1/2 incubator distance, and then for super incubators, you're going to get the reduction of 1/3. Following that, we're also going to have a collection challenge for all of the costume Pokemon. So basically just catch all of the Sinnoh starters with the Lucas hat as well as the Dawn hat. That should be pretty straightforward. And I should also mention that these Pokemon will have their shiny forms available. But the downside is that you can't actually evolve them, so that does kind of suck. Now, on the note of Lucas and Dawn, we're also going to get their outfits in the in-game shop for free, so that's really awesome. Additionally, on top of that, Chimchar, Turtwig, and Piplup onesies will also be available, but you're gonna have to pay for those. Now, from the in-game shop, we're also going to get a free event box, which is going to contain 20 Pokeballs and 1 Sinnoh Stone, so not too bad. And then the Great Box that is going to be available for a one-time purchase is going to contain 3 Super Incubators, 2 regular Incubators, and 1 Lure Module for only 300 Pokecoins. We're talking about a 1,000 Pokecoin value for only 300 Pokecoins. And I just want to say this right now, like incubators during this event and 7km eggs during this event are phenomenal. I mean, look, we're going to talk about that later on in the video, but this is absolutely a steal of a deal. And with that being said, that pretty much covers all of the event details and bonuses for the entirety of the event. Now let's go ahead and dive into the first part of the event, Brilliant Diamond, which is going to take place from November 16th at 10 a.m. to November 18th at 10 a.m. So I think I should start off by saying that the shiny potential during both Part 1 and Part 2 is going to be phenomenal. There are so many Pokemon that have their shinies available, which just means that if you keep catching Pokemon, the odds of you getting a shiny are pretty high. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the wild spawns here, and the first Pokemon that I would like to talk about are going to be the Sinnoh starters. So during Part 1 of the event, these Pokemon are going to be available with Lucas's hat in the wild, and then they're going to be available with Dawn's hat from field research. So I'm just going to go over the most notable Pokemon right now. So the first one that I see is going to be Seal, which evolves into Dugong. The downside to this Pokemon is that it will require an elite fast TM as well as an elite charge TM, but I would mainly just focus on getting a good IV spread for the Great League, and then you can kind of make the decision if you want to invest into it later, so keep an eye out for that Pokemon. It is ranked 27 in the Great League, by the way, so definitely a really good consideration. Following that, we're also going to have Baneri available in the wild, which honestly isn't that crazy of a Pokemon, but it does have a Mega Form available, so I would definitely try to farm a hundo if possible, if not just like a really good IV spread, something like 90% plus with 15 attack. And then right next to Baneri, we're going to have Stunky, which evolves into Skuntank, and this Pokemon is actually decently good for the Great League. I would honestly try to get a good IV spread if you can. And then taking a look at the rare Pokemon that are going to be in the wild during this event, I see 2 Pokemon that stand out to me. The first Pokemon is going to be Scyther, which evolves into Scizor with a Metal Coat. If you get a good IV spread, this can actually be extremely good for the Great League as well as the Ultra League, so definitely pay attention to that one. And then we're also going to have a Larvitar available, which is pretty good as Tyranitar. Again, it's not the top dark type attacker in the game, but it is honestly such a good option if you don't already have a good dark type attacker. Moving forward now, let's take a look at the raid pool. So we can see that we have the 1-star raids, Craniados, Drifloon, Bronzor, and Gible. Honestly, this is just good if you want to try and get the shiny, or if you're just trying to get some extra candy or even extra large candy. Taking a look at the 3-star raids, we have Tyranitar, Lopunny, Drapion, Toxicroak, and Gallade. The reason Tyranitar and Gallade are going to be on my recommendation list right now is because they are stage 3 Pokemon, which means that if you Pineapple Berry them, you're going to get 20 candy from catching it, which is phenomenal because Gardevoir is one of the top fairy type attackers in the game, if not actually the top fairy type attacker in the game, and Tyranitar is a very meta relevant dark type attacker. It's not the top of the meta, but it's really good. Not to mention, if you are level 40 or above, you're going to get 2 extra large candy from catching either of these Pokemon, so that's pretty solid as well. And then of course, taking a look at our 5-star raid pool, we're going to have Cresselia, which actually just got announced that it's going to learn the move Grass Knot, which is super good. In my opinion, you could really run either moveset, so even if it didn't have Grass Knot, I would definitely recommend raiding for this Pokemon. It is top of the meta in the Ultra League, and even if you don't PvP right now, you're gonna wanna have one of these available in case you change your mind. Not to mention, the shiny form is available, so yeah, Cresselia is a really solid Pokemon to raid for during this rotation. I would not skip out on that. And then finally, in the Mega Pool, we are going to have Mega Lopunny, which honestly, I wouldn't really recommend raiding for unless you just have nothing else around you and just wanna use up your raid pass for that day. if you have the choice, again, Tyranitar, Golade, or Cresselia are going to be preferred over Mega Lopunny. Oh boy, now I'm excited. We're going to talk about the 7km eggs next. So the 7km egg pool is actually super good. And I rarely say this, because normally 7km eggs and just eggs in general are kind of a scam in Pokemon Go, but Niantic did something right with the celebration event. So we're going to have 5 baby Pokemon featured during this event, and they're going to be Badoo, Bonsly, Happiny, Mime Jr., and Riolu. You heard me right, Mime Jr. This is the first time this Pokemon is going to be available outside of Europe, so yeah, if you don't have a Mime Jr., now is going to be the time to definitely try and hatch one. And we also talked about the great box that's going to be available earlier on in the video for 300 Pokecoins. You're going to get 3 Super Incubators for that, 2 regular Incubators. You definitely have a decent chance to hatch a Mime Jr. for a fraction of the cost. And then following Mime Jr., we're also going to have Riolu, which evolves into Lucario. This is going to be a top fighting type attacker in the game. Definitely recommend trying to get a good IV spread of this if you can. And then finally, the last Pokemon that I'd like to go over is going to be Happiny, which evolves into Chansey, which then evolves into Blissey, and that is a top gym defender. I mean, Chansey is also a top gym defender in the game as well. So you have 3 really good options right there, and even Badoo is a pretty solid option if you get a good IV spread, or even a Shiny, which evolves into Roserade in its final evolution. So then you have a top grass type attacker. And did I mention that every single one of these Pokemon is going to have their Shiny form available? So not only are you going to be able to get some meta-relevant Pokemon both for raids as well as gym defending, but you're also going to have a chance to get a really rare Shiny in-game. Without a doubt, this is going to be one of the best times to hatch 7km eggs in-game, and if you're not hatching 7km eggs, well, I don't know what you're doing. And then finally, when we take a look at the field research for this event, we're going to have the Sinnoh starters, like I mentioned earlier, with Dontat available, and then we're also going to have Pokemon like Bagon and Shieldon, and then also Burmy in its Sandy Cloak, as well as Burmy in its Trash Cloak for the Shiny hunters out there. And yeah, every single one of these Pokemon has their Shiny available. Like I mentioned earlier, guys, so much Shiny potential during this event. Specifically, I do want to mention though that Shieldon is going to be really good for PvP when it evolves into Bastiodon, so definitely try to get as much candy as you possibly can, because this dude is kind of rare. That being said though, that pretty much covers everything for part 1 of Brilliant Diamond. Now let's take a look at part 2 for Shining Pearl. So first of all, this part of the event is going to take place from November 18th at 10 AM to November 21st at 8 PM. And then taking a look at some of the wild spawns here, honestly, most of them are pretty mediocre. I mean, outside of the shiny potential. We do have Houndour, which does have the Mega form available, so that one is kind of worth it if you don't have the Hundo already, or just a really good IV spread, maybe like 90% plus 15 attack. I would try to get one of those. We also have Bagon available in the wild as a rare spawn, so again, just another chance to farm some candy. And then outside of that, there isn't really too much, but again, shiny potential is massive, so if you're a shiny hunter, this is going to be great for you, but meta relevance, there isn't really too much to offer. Now taking a look at raids, we pretty much have most of the same Pokemon, except now Shieldon is going to be available in 1-star raids, so if you're going for the shiny, definitely a good chance. I mean, maybe not a great chance, but you do have that option. We also have Salamence available in the 3-star raids, opposed to Tyranitar, so you have the option there to hunt that one for candy. And then 7km eggs are pretty much the exact same. And then when it comes down to field research, those are pretty much the same as well. Like I said, Lucas's hat is going to be available on the Sinnoh starters, and then the Burmy forms are going to be the Plant Cloak this time, and then the Trash Cloak is going to stay the same. And then we're also going to have Larvitar and Cranidos available in the field research encounters too, so those are pretty good Pokemon to farm some candy on. So with that being said, that's pretty much going to cover all of the event details for part 1 and part 2 of the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl celebration event. But now, let's go over some tips and tricks. The first tip that I have for all of you guys is going to be to save your rares for Shinx Calm Day, which is going to be coming up on November 21st from 11 AM to 5 PM your local time. The event bonus is going to be triple transfer candy and a 4 times chance of getting an extra large candy if you're level 40 or above. This is phenomenal, especially considering how many rare Pokemon are going to be available during the celebration event. You're definitely going to have a lot of Pokemon that you're going to want to hold on to. And if you're struggling with storage space, I just made a really awesome video going over how to manage, organize, and clean your Pokemon storage using tags. I'm going to leave the link to that video in the top right corner right now. I really do recommend it if you guys are having trouble. Following that, like I mentioned earlier, I really do recommend raiding Cresselia during this rotation because it is such a good Pokemon in the Ultra League, especially with Grassdon available. You're going to be able to save Cresselia that you can then trade to people later on and maybe even get something good out of it. But even if you don't, like, just try to get a good IV spread for PvP. And again, even if you don't PvP right now, it is going to be such a good Pokemon to invest to for the long run. And did I mention that I really like 7km eggs during this event? Not only are we going to have reduced distance with incubators, but we're also going to have the event box for 300 Pokecoins. It's going to give us 5 incubators, 3 super incubators, and 2 regular incubators. The 7km egg pool is phenomenal with all all shiny Pokemon available and meta-relevant Pokemon. This is literally the best time to hatch Pokemon from incubators. I cannot think of a better time to do it. And then finally, the last tip that I have for you guys is going to be to farm as much Piplup candy as you possibly can, and then hunt for really good PvP IVs during Spotlight Hour on November 30th. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to evolve Costume Piplup, but Piplup on November 30th from Spotlight Hour isn't going to be Costume, so yeah, really good opportunity. And December Calm Day is coming up, which means that for the past 2 years, you can actually get the exclusive Calm Day moveset, so this meets all the criteria. All you need to get is a ton of Piplup candy and a really good IV spread for Great League as well as Ultra League. I mean, seriously, I cannot stress this enough, guys. Farm as much Piplup candy as you possibly can, get a good IV spread, and come out on top during December Calm Day. And with that being said, in case you guys want some more tips and tricks in general, check out this video right here. But before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.